Hello, hello homeschoolers! Magandang araw po sa kanilang lahat. Ako po ay nagagalak at pinili niyo pong manood o makinig po sa amin. Alam nyo, dito po sa iHomeschoolph, we make sure meron po tayong audio learning portion or tinatawag natin na pwede rin niyo po kaming panoodin sa YouTube. Kasi di ba po iba't iba po ang learning curve natin. Sometimes we want to watch and sometimes we just want to listen. So, if you are listening here, we also have an available YouTube viewing for this podcast as well. Now, I'm so excited po because this is a great day for iHomeschoolph because it's so privileged for me to talk about this myth about early education. Ano ba talaga to? And for our guest for today, I just want to introduce, she's a Filipino homeschooler and she's been homeschooling for 17 years. She is highly respected advocate of homeschooling and she holds a psychology and medical degree from University of the Philippines. Through her years of experience and interaction with hundreds of parents like me who is interested in trying to homeschool, she realized the need to create a local and more relevant material for Filipino homeschoolers. Thank you, Ate. Donna looks back with great fondness and affection at her preschool homeschooling days with her 4 children. Grabe, 4 children po ang hinomeschool niya. She was then moved to help other parents have the chance to enjoy their children's preschool years at the same time building a strong holistic foundation for proper growth and development through the KCC. Let's welcome Ate Donna Pangilinan, Simpao.
Wow. Yeah, thank you. Hi there. Hi, Novi. Hi, homeschool team. Salamat.
Yes, maraming salamat Ate Donna. Namimiss na kita ng kachika eh.
Ano ba yan?
Yeah, but today we have a bonus.
Yes.
Yes. Dahil ito matagal ko na siyang gustong makilala actually ever since I saw this kid starter curriculum. Okay? She's a graduate. Okay, immediately started teaching at Exploration Preschool. It's one of the most respected preschool in Manila. So within a few years, she decided to pursue and develop her teaching by studying for her master's degree, early childhood education at the Bank Street College in New York. So after which, she again continued working as a senior teacher at Exploration. Fast forward po tayo today, Liana is now homeschooling her 2-year-old daughter, Nadia. Oh, wow. Who became her inspiration for creating this program. Because she believes in the power of play in the early years and that parents can be their child's best first teacher, her knowledge, skills, and years of practical classroom experience help make KCC one of the most dynamic guides for parents today. So let us welcome Liana Lim Cruz. Hello, my dear.
Hello, Novi. It's so nice to finally meet you and talk to you. And of course, hello, Donna. Forever partners in crime.
And sa fast forward na rin, Liana has 2 kids already. And Nadia is already 4 years old si Nadia because, time has passed and they use KCC.
Yes, update po yan. Yes, that's the update. Wow. So, kamusta na po kayo? Kamusta na po? What are you doing right now?
Well, for me, I've always, I'm still in the homeschool community, diba? Managing the homeschoolers of the Philippines Facebook group. Finally having time to also get back into my medical practice, yung holistic wellness and functional medicine and integrative nutrition. And then doing, these things on the side, still really committed to help homeschoolers and also to run the Kid Starter program.
Naku ate, thank you so much Hindi ka nagsasawa. Dahil kailangan ka pa sa community ito.
Home ako sa homeschool.
Yes. How about Liana? Ano pinagkakaabalahan natin nowadays?
Well, just like Donna, I'm really finding inspiration being at home and being able to homeschool si Nadia. So Nadia is now 4 and I have, not a newborn anymore. Kaka 1 niya lang nung May. So I have 2 girls to homeschool now. And And that's what I've been doing throughout this pandemic. I've been really investing in their lives, but also trying to capture these things and share it with our Kid Starter community. So for them to see what it's like, that it's not so daunting, it's not so scary. It's something that you can do a little at a time, build up. So yeah, and I've really been investing in the Kid Starter community and the girls.
Yeah, thank you so much for doing such good materials dahil kailangan natin yan eh. Sabi ko nga kay Ate Donna noon, we need to have really more Filipino creators to make these good materials, di ba?
I
Well,
agree.
I do
Oo.
believe na nakatulong naman po ang mga imported materials. But then again, iba talaga pag Pilipino, di ba? And I love how you did those curriculum na colorful siya, very engaging. But let us go to our topic for today. Alam ko medyo controversial ng konti, but I believe that this is something that not, not everyone is talking about. Especially if we're gonna put this now in social media. So, ano nga ba talaga itong mga myths na to about early education? So, I am so excited to learn from you, Ate Donna and Liana, because I know, hindi naman po namin, disclaimer lang po, hindi po namin sinasabi lahat ng sinasabi namin dito ay tama or sobra kaming expert. We just want to be a vessel of a guide to you guys. If you think na makakatulong po lahat ng pinag-uusapan namin dito, then yung po ang kunin nyo. Kung if you think naman na hindi, and it's okay din po. So, this is not, this is a relaxed conversation and something to think about and learn that we could be able to really learn together in this process. So, ano nga ba itong myths of early education? One of the myths that I have learned, Ate Donna and Liana, sabi nila, ang early education, hindi dapat masyadong pagkagastusan. Sobrang expensive. So what can you say about that?
Okay. I guess it really depends kung ano yung definition mo of expensive, Kung buwis-buhay na homeschooling, walang presyo doon, 'di ba? Because you spend your time, your effort, your energy in engaging with your children, no? Pero pag sinasabing na, like Teacher Liana came from a preschool, no? In terms that there are really schools that set tuition fee. So, it can be expensive and nasa pamilya yun eh. Kung ano ang kanilang paniniwala dun sa oras, sa budget, sa type of education na kanilang kukunin, pwedeng makatipid na sobrang, halos konti lang dahil you're doing it yourself at home. Pwede namang sobrang laki, no? So, pero I think ang masasabi natin eh, hindi dahil mahal, parang porket mahal siya, ang galing na niya. Parang maybe
that's
tayo
good.
pupunta na. Just because mahal siya, yun na yung best, at yun na yung quality education. So hindi nasa cost ng tuition o ng mga materyales nakasalalay yung proper growth and development ng bata.
Yeah, I agree. It's really, when you think about it, when it's quantity versus quality, we can really provide good quality from the home, diba? So for example, what I've been learning, especially throughout this pandemic, nung nagsimula, diba, nobody could go out. Tapos, hindi naman pwedeng mag-national, hindi pa online yung national bookstore, yung mga, the stores that we'd always go to, take for granted dati na punta lang kaming Shangri-La, o sige, bili tayo ng, markers or colored paper, ganyan. So, because of that, I realized that I really had to, number one, get creative, and number two, look at what I had at home and make use of what you have at home. So we really love using recyclables. In preschool, one thing that I used to really do a lot was loose parts. We call it loose parts, right? So, or found materials. Yun yung mga bagay na akala nyo trash, pero treasure pala. So, bottle caps. Bottle caps ng mga mineral water or bottled water nyo, or even in jars, the jar, not only the jar, the glass jar, but also the cover of that. You can use it in many ways. Cotton balls, yung every single thing that you have sa kitchen, sa banyo, may treasure doon. And you can use that for play with your children, the preschool age children. And you can sometimes you can put thought into the objects that you put together. For example, pag natapos ko na sa tissue paper, 'di ba? Merong tissue core, you can use that and put the core mismo, yung cylinder. Tapos kung meron kayong, leftover pasta na hindi ginamit, or if meron kayong cotton balls, 'di ba, you can stick that on the wall and then do a ball drop. That's already a game, 'di ba, for preschoolers. And there are so many things like that that you can do na hindi mahal. So mahahanap talaga sa bahay.
Yes, I totally agree, no? Kaya lang because of this social media, yun nga yung sometimes parents will actually define themselves, pag hindi ko binili to ni celebrity, ganyan, dapat bilhin ko rin yan. Siguro tatalino yung anak ko. Alam mo yung ganon? So, with this conversation, I'm sure hindi naman to na pag-uusapan. That's why I'm glad to have this with you guys.
And I think, Novi, ang maganda kasi, we're, like we said kanina, we're all learning together, no? Hindi naman tayo na expert sa ganyan. Pero, what we look at is research. And syempre, research are based on outcomes, di ba? So, sa research talagang sinasabi na hindi na sa uri ng ng kagamitan o nasa kagandahan ng classroom mo. Of course, nakakatulong yon. Pero ang pinaka-importante is yung engagement dun sa tao, na yung responsible nurturing adult, which is usually the magulang, which is usually the nanay, at saka yung child. Tapos yun nga, yung nakikita ng nanay kung ano yung mga yun, yung mga mahahanap sa bahay na pwedeng i-present sa bata. So pwedeng talagang minimal ang gastos, pwede namang mataas. Pero nakasalalay yung research, nakasalalay dun sa one-on-one or one-on-two, interaction ng bata dun sa mga significant people sa bahay.
Yes, I totally agree. So parents, no, ang ganda ng mga sinabi nila. That's why we need to guard our heart and you know what's best for your family. You don't have to compare and copy yourself. But then again, I agree with Ate Donna with the research, no? Kasi depending talaga sa family of your decision. But do not be pressured, di ba? It's not because a celebrity is using it or others are using it na alam mong icon. Dapat mong gamitin. It's really what's best for your family and that is good. Thank you so much for that. And next, ano pa ang mga myth na to? Sinasabi nila na all children can read at a young age. Do you believe that? That all children can read at a young age?
Okay, I think it's very controversial and it's something very real, especially in this age na, people begin to compare na parang, bakit si ganito ganyan nagbabasa? Ito nagsusulat, ito naggaganyan, nagsispell, na tama yung spelling niya. And the truth is, diba, we go back to Education 101 or Child Development 101. Every child develops on a different plane of growth. So your child, my child, they grow differently. And this is something we always have to chant to ourselves tuwing na-attempt tayo na maisip na parang, ayan na, kaya na nito, yung ganyan. So I need my child to do this. Remind yourself that my child grows in a different way from so and so. So at least pag nasabi mo na yun sa sarili mo, wala masyadong pressure. Now, when it comes to reading and writing, some children are really inclined to learn earlier. And others, it may happen later. And the pressure will always be there. Like Donna and I were talking about this the other day. Alam mo, kahit na preschool teacher na ako dati, when I had my own, I had that pull, yung parang, I know that at this age, dapat alam na niya to. But then I had to remind myself na it's okay. Yun na nga, going back to foundations, she'll really develop. She'll get there when she gets there. That's something I also tell parents. They will get there when they get there, when they're ready. So, something that you can do, and if you're this kind of parent na parang you really want your child to be reading and writing at a certain age, one thing that you can really do, the best investment is you read to them. You read and read and read.
In the womb.
In the womb. Oo. Kasi that's really when they start learning. They hear your voice. They recognize it already. The way you read, diba, sometimes sing-song manner, up and down yung voice natin. So, when you read to them, there's a richness of, they learn so many things. And of course, storytelling doesn't just end with reading books. It's oral tradition. You can use a whiteboard and draw on it. You can show comics. There are so many ways that you can read to your child. But starting with that, starting with reading to your child, it helps them develop this love for reading. And they will realize that these words, they have a purpose. And what is the purpose? It's to tell a story, it's to convey a message, it's to communicate. And once they understand that, dun sila na maka-capture, parang, gusto ko rin to, gusto ko rin magsulat, gusto ko rin mag-tell ng story. So that's really the number one tip. Spend time reading. Kahit 20 times mo basahin in one day, go lang ng go.
And I think yung purpose mo is to bond, to build
Yes.
memories. Ang purpose mo is to have a rich environment. Hindi yung dahil gusto kong magbasa ng 2 or ng 3. Purpose mo is enjoy it. And magiging outcome na lang yung parang they're so parang at home with words, at home with letters. Versus na talagang yun ang gusto ko. So I think you're bound to fail kapag yun ang naging purpose mo na gusto ko magbasa ng 2. Kaya, it's very hard.
But I also have to add na, syempre when you read, wag naman yung parang, okay, next page, okay, next page, okay, next page. Diba? Syempre kasi ito na tapos na. Binasa ko na to 5 times kanina, pwede bang tapos na, next book na tayo. Sometimes, there's a richness in asking questions. And, diba, you really make it meaningful by drawing it back to the child. Na parang, has this happened to you? Did you ever feel sad like D the Bee? Have you ever felt, lonely? Did mama ever hurt you? So when you draw it back to them, it makes sense. Nagki-click in their brain na parang, nga no, parang I'm kind of like this character, or I don't like to be like this character. Kunyari, villain. I don't want to be like this because he's mean, he's not kind, he doesn't follow Jesus, anything like that. Diba? It's really being able to bring it back to the child and make it meaningful to them.
Naming ways para yung bumuka yung bata doon sa libro.
Diba? So it's also it's not also the parent need to set that kind of atmosphere. It's not should be forced. I think when I'm trying to summarize both of you are telling us right now, it should not be forced, but you should honor the pace and the natural rhythm of the child. And that's what's really it's all about. And mga parents, don't be, again, siguro comparison pa rin to yung mga nababasa mo, nare-research mo, na nagiging truth, or comparing with others, and sasabihin, uy, yung anak ko nagbasa na, kailangan yung anak ko rin magbasa na, ganyan-ganyan. I still remember Ate Donna, kasi noong nag-uusap, when you were trying to tell all those things, I have a friend kasi na sabay kaming lumaki, pero talagang bulol siya. I think he was bulol until he was 8 years old. At talagang nabubuli siya dahil bulol nga siya Hindi siya, naiintindihan niya yung binabasa niya, pero pag ina-utter niya with this mouth, hindi niya kaya. And then, biglang nung nag-9, parang wala. Bigla na lang, yes! Bigla na lang. Bigla na lang nagbasa at ang galing-galang ngayon. I mean, IT, siya, expert, and all that stuff. So, iba't iba lang talaga ang progreso ng isang bata. You cannot be able to put it in a box. So, we just need to be patient, I think, with the development of our kids. So, thank you so much for that. I love it. Now, for the next, siguro 5 lang i-discuss natin kasi ang dami
So rich.
Oo, sobrang rich tong conversation. Ito teachers are best at reading instruction. Ayan, ako teachers lang daw ang best at reading instruction.
Okay, paano yun? Hindi naman ako teacher.
Kaya nga ako rin.
Liana, what can you say?
Siyempre, it's a big no-no. I look to parents like you, Novi and Donna, and you're the living, breathing examples that it's not only teachers, trained teachers, if this is what the myth is. It's not just trained teachers who are the best. Because, parents, as open as your children are, the parents can also be open to learning new ways, to being able to listen, and to execute all of these things with your children. So I think as long as the relationship is there, which, syempre, every parent and child has that relationship, and the desire to learn, and that inner teachable, you have to be open, diba, as a parent when you're going to become a parent teacher, then you will succeed either way, as long as you there's that also humility. I have to add that, because sometimes it's hard for us to say I'm sorry, or I did wrong, or I don't know. And this is something that we always share with parents nga, na parang it's okay to say you don't know. You don't need to be all knowing. Hindi ka naman si God, di ba? So you can tell your child, I don't know, and let's find
Yeah.
out together. So definitely parents can be, just as good as teachers, if not even better. I think, because you really have that tight relationship, and nagiging one-on-one pa if you just have one child, parent and child, 1:1.
Yeah, ang galing nun. Oo,
100%.
100%.
Oo.
May I add though that, syempre, when you talk about reading instruction, syempre, there are windows, di ba? Sensitivity of our children in terms of learning, reading, writing, yung mga pronunciation, enunciation, ganyan. So, apart from just being open and being humble, yung parang having a growth mindset, yung din self-awareness, kung ano yung mga weaknesses and strengths mo as a parent teacher. So let's say hirap ka sa fluency ng Tagalog or fluency ng English or a certain language that yun ang tinuturo mo, you might have to really strengthen your skills.
Yeah.
Kasi yun ang first exposure ng anak mo eh. Kung ang first exposure ng anak mo to English, ikaw, and then you're not, you want to be the language arts teacher for 7 years, let's say, the entire elementary, pero hindi yun ang first language mo, you have to be self-aware na, okay, pag-aaralan natin to sa bahay, o i-outsource mo na lang ba yun kapag, may self-awareness din sa kakayahan mo. Yun.
At saka I think that's the beauty of, like having a community, especially this homeschool community, because you can say, SOS, patulong naman dito. Hindi ko kaya. Ano yung mga strategies nyo? Ano yung best practices nyo na pwede kong ituro sa mga anak ko?
Yun.
So, yeah.
Yes.
And I do believe, no? Dahil nga kami, hindi naman kami teacher ni Ate Donna. No? By the grace of God, okay naman ang mga bata.
naman sila.
Exactly.
Kaka-award pa, di ba? May medal pa minsan.
Pero I have a testimony, yung anak ko dati, yung only boy ko, I think hindi siya marunong magbasa until he was 6 years old. And at that time, no, meron akong ganong parang at the back of my mind na, oh no, ako ba yun? Dahil hindi ko talaga siya naturuan. May mga ganun pa akong insecurities na pero I don't, para bang Chinky was telling me na, mahal, do not entertain that lie. Where is that coming from? Sabi niya, ako nga, si Chinky pala, nakakatawa. Because Chinky, I think, he was able to learn how to read mas later pa than my only boy.
Wow, and
He
he's
told
such a
me that.
writer na ngayon.
And he's a very good communicator and very good writer.
Diba?
O, diba? Pero nanay lang niya, ang nakakatawa nga, kasi nanay niya, tinuturuan siya mag-Mandarin, pure English, and pure Tagalog.
Oh.
So, iba pa yung Fokien. O, diba? 4 na language. And that is true also for natural rhythm of conversation. Hindi man pinaplano, walang material, walang workbook. So, I just want to encourage the parents, and I hope, Ate Donna and Liana will agree. Parents, you are the best teachers to your kids, and God has anointed you to be that. So, do not believe that lie. Yes. So, may dalawa na lang tayong myth, ate. Ito medyo konting, how can I say, specific. Sabi nila, phonics is most important for early reading. Alam mo ba kasi there were times na kailangan mag-phonics na siya para pagdating niya ng kindergarten, magaling na siya, magaling na siyang madedecode na niya. Siguro, I think, dito nanggagaling yung myth. So, dapat phonics daw is the best. Totoo ba yun, Liana?
Teacher Liana. Punta tayo sa expert.
It's interesting that you mentioned that, because that's where I am right now with Nadi. And although phonics is one strategy, it's not always the best, or it's not the main. It's, when you learn language, when you learn reading and writing together, it's holistic. And one of the skills that we teach we don't teach intentionally, but it comes out because of the play, is it's called, my shortcut in my head is SCLU. So speaking, communicating, listening, and understanding. So SCLU. And all of these things are parang nakabind all together. So yes, phonics plays a role. Syempre, your child needs to learn the sound before they can learn how to string sounds together and know that pag linagay mo yung k at yung a at yung t together, magiging cat. Diba? But there's also beauty in again, I go back to reading and how reading is so important because this is where they begin to appreciate the words and see it come to life with kunyari, may illustration of a cat or a red cat. Kunyari, when you're doing early reading, kasi syempre you have those graded books, diba? So there's the pre-reading books na very simple, very repetitive. You know what it is because in one page it says, parang Eric Carle, diba? Blue bird. You flip it, diba? Parang red horse, yeah. Or all of these, na it's you can use pictures with it, illustrations with the words so that they can piece it together. So again, it's not always phonics. Yes, it plays a part because they need to learn that skill, but at the same time, there are other skills that go along with it. And again, reading is so important. Immersing your child in different kinds of literature, whether it's wordless books or fairy tales, nursery rhymes, all of the kinds of picture books, large, small, fluffy, yung mga recipes. Exactly. There are so many ways for a child to learn reading. But it's important that you make it what I always talk about, print awareness. And if you see behind me, ang daming print dito na parang this is my daughter's this is my daughter's way of seeing that writing has purpose and all of these words come together for a reason. Yeah.
And hindi drill type.
Hindi drill.
I've never seen Liana and Nadi do drills na, of the phonics, of the sounds. It just comes naturally.
Yeah. Through play. Yeah.
Through play.
Ate Donna, you would like to add to that?
Ayan, so yun, I really see it in action, na again, I know where people are coming from because sometimes when someone shares na ang aga nagbasa anak ko, o anong ginawa mo? Inuna namin ang phonics, ganyan. Diba? So lahat ngayon, pila na lahat doon. Paano ba uunahin ng phonics? So, yun. So I think, nanonotice lang namin na kapag drills or flashcard type of mas maraming pahirapan, mas maraming resistance and boredom sa mga anak. At nasa-stress ang magulang kasi parang nakikita nila hindi nag-e-enjoy.
Yeah,
So, maybe ang una natin tanongin din dun sa mga masyadong mabilis magbasa, maybe, how was it? Was it natural? Was it really talagang, baka gift lang talaga ng bata yun na mabilis. Pero kung minsan may makikita ka at maririnig mo na may pahirapan, may iyakan, may yung, yung sapilitan, yan, natutungang magbasa. Pero there was a lot of conflict on a day-to-day. So, yun,
tapos yung big question then is, do they comprehend? Naintindihan ba nila yung binabasa nila? Nagbabasa ka ng mabilis pero naintindihan mo ba?
Yes,
diba? Does it apply to your life?
So, ngayon, yung experience of negativity dun sa boredom or drills or sapilitan, nako-connect ngayon to words and reading. So, we don't know what kind of effect that will be on the long run. Baka meron na ring negativity on reading materials because of that very early forced or parang hindi pa ready yung bata, something like that. So as much as possible, yun, I really agree with the methods of she's doing it as they go now in the real, live talaga that I see practiced by Liana with her Nadi.
The goal is talagang meet where your child is.
Yes.
Yes.
Meet where your child is. And it's tayo naman, si God din naman, ganun din sa atin.
Exactly. I was going to say, He meets us where we are.
Kaya nga. Pero I think itong last meet, hindi ko na i-discuss kasi halos lahat nasagot nyo na. And I'm so thankful for all the tips. Grabe, ang gaganda. And I was also refreshed na, sabi ko nga, pwede ba namimiss ko na Ate Donna? And I'm sure namimiss ko na magturo ng maliliit na bata.
Oo nga. Gusto ko nga hiramin Nadi, tsaka si Leo. Bigay ko yung aso ko, tapos bigay sa akin yung mga bata.
Oo nga. Kaya mga magulang, savor and cherish those moments with your little kids because Grabe, sobrang bilis ng panahon. Hindi mo na lang talaga marirealize. And that's what I keep on hearing from you guys is the engagement. And definitely, what is more important, it's not the method per se. It's really your connection with the child. And how do you build your relationship with God, with your child? It's the trust factor between a parent and a child. Diba? So thank you
Yes,
so
the
much
trust.
for this. Thank you so much. But before we end, what is your last words for our viewers and for our listeners regarding this myth?
Well, actually, when we created a Kidstarter, kasama yun dun sa aming
Yeah.
advocacy. So we also talked about the myths of yung faster is better, that children are empty vessels, that parents are omnipotent, na we know everything na dapat gawin, ganyan, and yung process versus product, yun. So we actually shared that kasi yun ang advocacy namin talaga. A passion that really binds and unites us is yun na nga, is really to help parents sort of find the groove and find the ways in rearing the early years yon, and then eventually homeschooling. So ang message is yun nga, yung parang sabi nga ni Liana, on what it means to be a good teacher, meaning being humble and being open to learn new things. And it's all anchored in love and the connection you have sa kids. So,
Yes. Thank you so much for that, Ate Donna. Liana?
I want to copy paste everything that Donna said. Yes, I really echo actually everything. I think Donna said it really quite well, that it's a big part of our foundational chapters in the KCC, in the Kidstarter Curious curriculum, because we really want parents to be equipped. We want them to be encouraged. We want to empower them and let them know na this is something that isn't natural, diba? It's not natural for everybody. Even for me as a teacher, a trained teacher for many years, there are things that I have to stop and catch myself doing and undoing, diba? So it's a process, and you grow day by day. It's a moment by moment process, and also of, for me personally, it's really me trusting in the Lord's grace and in His wisdom to know how to teach my daughter how to best approach things when she's frustrated, when to step back, when to keep going, all of these things. It's really a moment by moment trusting of the Lord. So I hope if ever anybody's interested in the KCC, I hope that those chapters really help shift perspectives when it comes to myths.
Yes,
Yeah.
at hindi pa nag-e-end po dyan. And I think Ate Donna has a very good surprise for us.
Oh, well, one is we're giving out raffle, right? Free Kidstarter Everyday Journal there. So siguro Novi will just post the
Yes, the mechanics.
And the Kidstarter Curious Curriculum was launched in 2019. And it had been rolled out the entire 2020 in the pandemic levels. And then we had a chance to listen to people. Homeschool Global adopted us and said that it was going to be their preschool material. And 3 other preschools used it as well as 1,000 more homeschoolers. So when you listen to others, syempre yun, have a growth mindset, be open to suggestions. We came up with a new product called Kidstarter Curious Curriculum, or KCC Plus, which Liana will talk about.
Yeah. Okay. So listening to the hesitations and the frustrations of these moms, some they even have it already, but they don't know where to begin, what to do. Parang it's really parang that's that hesitation. I'm a first-time homeschooler. Ano ba gagawin ko? So we designed this 3-month program, and it's kind of like a hand-holding. Donna and I will be giving out workshops and webinars, how to start, what to do. Just best practices. But also, I'm gonna be teaching a special reading and writing, early reading and writing. Yes, yeah. And the main tool is that everyday journal, how to use it for the early years. And then another thing that we're excited to roll out is the parent-child classes. So we'll have 5 of them, where we actually asked our senior teachers to conduct a class, and it's going to be a vertical class with children of different ages, but they'll see how the teachers interact with the child. So it's really for the parent to learn and the child to learn as well, how one open-ended activity can be used across the ages, 2, 3, 4, even 5-year-olds if they're gonna join us. So that's another. And then the pinaka parang for me, I feel is the best bonus are the lesson plans. So we created a day-by-day lesson plan for 3 months that honestly, when I look at it, I'm like, pwede to talaga almost a year. Or you can really extend it as long as you want. And it's really just to help you get started. Kasi when you get your groove, like I remember talking to Donna, sabi niya, nung after a while, parang nagets ko na eh. So hindi ko na kailangan sundan word by word, step by step. So when you get that groove, you can let go of our lesson plans. But if you want to follow, please go ahead and follow. So
parang meron kang 1/4 na homeschool provider. Yun ang
parang
parang
ganun.
na yun. We're supporting you all out para ma-jumpstart ka, ma-launch ka sa homeschool journey ng preschool years. Yun. So, the KCC Plus has the book set, has the everyday journal, and all of what Teacher Liana said. And we also open it to those yung nakabili na ng KCC. Pwede naman sila for a lower rate that we will provide you the promo code. Na for a lower rate, they will only get the lesson plan, the 3-month classes, and parent-child classes. Yun.
The webinars.
Yes.
Too.
Thank you so much for that. And that classes will start when?
July 17.
July 7. So enrollment ngayon. July 17 start ng class. Tapos roll na yung mga parent-child classes. All available at kidstarter.ph. Yon.
Okay. Thank you so much. Super exciting yan. Saka nakakatulong na sa mga bago pa lang, na mga homeschooler. That's like a big jump start na, ito pala how it looks like. And then, after 3 months, pwede na silang, they can do that on their own. Ang galing.
Yes.
Ba't wala tayong ganyan, Ate Donna, nung unang panahon? 15 years ago.
God wanted us to depend on Him. Diba?
Yes, oo nga.
So
But this is really a great investment. Okay? Ito po ay long-term investment at maganda dahil mapapakinggan po natin at makikita po natin si Ate Donna and Liana during those classes. They will just guide us on how to go through. Ito, actually magandang parang you're enrolling yourself on that. Na parang unti-unting mawawala kung ano man yung mindset mo or concept mo or any lie that you may have on how to execute.
Doubts. Confidence.
Yes. So, see it in that way, okay? Mga magulang. So, please contact them and please follow them in their Instagram. And you have a Facebook account, no, Ate Donna?
Starter.
And also, they have a website, which we're gonna post here in the stream. And also, you could be able to see it in our link in our description box here in our podcast. Maraming salamat po, Ate Donna and Liana. Sana magkaroon tayo ulit ng second conversation.
Para yung mga hindi natin napag-usapan.
Nag-enjoy ako. Na-refresh ako actually. Parang gusto ko na rin magturo ulit, di ba? Parang labo nun dahil mga anak ko teenagers na. But anyway, lagi lang po nating tatandaan, in homeschooling, relationship is more important than academics. Ako po si Novi Antan, your homeschool coach. And I homeschool.